For hundreds of years, ceramics involved getting heat up to 12, 13, 14, 1500 degrees in a controlled environment with a lot of bricks around, with a lot of fire stoked. And at some point they invented kilns. They have gas-fired kilns, electric-fired kilns, wood-fired kilns, which are more like the original way that people would heat their clay to get it to turn to stone, and then put powdered glass over the surface and heat it again to get a layer of what they call glaze, but it's melted glass over the surface to make the ceramics you and I are used to. But now they've come up with this amazing thing that I still don't understand how it's this easy and how everyone doesn't know about it. But this little tiny thing, see the size of my hand, is called a microwave kiln. And it's made out of the same fire brick, which is this very porous, very light material. It's almost like if you combine stone and styrofoam, because when you pick it up, it's super light. It's not quite as light as styrofoam, but it's very, very porous, and something about that allows it to hold a lot of heat. But basically, this is so small, when you open it up, it only has enough room for like one cabochon or like one pendant. It only has about 2 square, maybe 4 square inches inside. But I got this, and they're very inexpensive too, and you can put it in a regular microwave. And so I started experimenting with getting pieces of broken glass and trying to get them to slump fuse, is where you just put it, kind of lay them on top of each other and then heat it until they start to melt. But they don't melt into liquid and flow all over. They just melt just enough that they start to fuse together. So here's the last one that I did. It's still in here. It survived the move. This little guy, and that's blue glass from a wine bottle. It's green and brown glass from beer bottles, and clear from something. And of course the edges need to be sharp, need to be sanded, because it's like a little weapon. But I'm going to try to use this again. This is the paper you have to put, it's a special kind of paper you have to put down underneath, or your glass will fuse right to the kiln and basically ruin it. So for some reason this paper comes in squares. The kiln came in a circle, so I had to cut it into the shape of a circle. And I don't know how many times you can use one square. I think you're technically supposed to put a new one on, but I'm gonna use this one until it starts to disintegrate, because it kind of powders off underneath, and that's what, and then you got to kind of wash it off, because that's what keeps it from melting right to the surface of the kiln. So let's have fun with this. I accumulated, when I was originally doing this, I got all kinds of glass. Now I'm going to experiment again with, I'm going to put some little pieces. All right, if we can get that to stay in place, try to figure out some kind of glue I could use that would hold everything together, that would just burn off and would be safe. But for now, we're just going to balance it. Put the lid on and take it to the microwave. The wildest thing about this is, you would think, even as easy as this is, that it would take like hours and hours. And for some weird reason, in a microwave, it takes like 7 minutes. Really, really weird. But every microwave is different. Every bit of glass is different, so you got to kind of play with it. So we'll start with 5 minutes and see what happens with that. Can't wait to see. In the meantime, I'm probably gonna put this in my new tumbler when it arrives in the mail, and get the edges nice and smooth and rounded, and then maybe put it in somebody's kit that orders a stone and bead kit. Okay, ran for 5 minutes. It's been cooling for 10. You got to be real careful when you want to let it cool down really slow. Sometimes you want to give it a whole hour, because otherwise the glass could crack if it gets stressed. But you can peek, because the heat doesn't escape that fast. So let's Let's see what we got here. And it looks like it didn't do anything. Oh, did it even fuse at all? Very little. I might need a more high-powered microwave, or it might need more time. We're going to do another... It's still fairly hot, so we're going to do another 5 minutes. I wonder if this... Let's do 6 minutes. And then we'll come back and see what happens. Okay, this is after one set of 5 minutes with a 10-minute cooldown, and then one set of 6 minutes. And let's see what we have. Ooh. Whoa. Did you hear that? I don't know if that came from there. I wonder if that was like the glass cracking. No, I think it was just the shelf shifting. All right, we're going to let it cool down more, but we have success. I'm just going to zoom in one more time. That is definitely melted glass. All right. Fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. It's still warm after it's been cooling down for about an hour, but there we have it. It's not maybe the most beautiful piece of art you've ever seen, maybe the second or third most beautiful, but that sound that made me jump before, I don't know if you heard it on the video, it was actually the toaster going off. I put something in the toaster and then I forgot it was in there when I started videoing. Anyway, we're gonna have some fun. All kinds of fun stuff coming. I'm gonna play with some of these glass marbles and pieces, and I'm gonna put more in right now. This is gonna be great. But you guys are gonna have to wait because I'm gonna upload this video first. Yes.